It's right there. Right there. That's where the wet noodle hurts me. Right there. So Corbyn, in a stunning display of stupidity, has gone along with a general election. Now, they're saying it's because no deal Brexit is off the table. So they will now go along with the general election. First and foremost, if the opposition, if I was a Labour leader and the opposition, who is Prime Minister, is saying, oh, we need a general election. We should have a general election. Let's have it in December. We need that general election. Give me that general election. Are you scared? Give me the general election. I would respond with, you had a working government. You sacked most of them off in a childish fit of rage. And now you want a general election? No. Give us a referendum. Stop being a child and give us a referendum. Because why would you do what the opposition wants you to do? I get that a lot of people don't like the Conservative government. I certainly don't want the Conservative government because I actually care about the country. But a general election right now does not favour Labour. It does not favour the left. It's going to do more harm than good, in my opinion. Secondly, saying that they're going along with it because no deal Brexit is off the table. Well, no, it's not. See, as long as Boris Johnson is in number 10, no deal is never going to be off the table. His cabinet is still brimming with people like Dominic Raab, like Piri Patel, like Sajid Javid, with Dominic Cummings. Dominic Cummings? Is it Dominic? With Cummings, still whispering in his ear. It's been a long night. I definitely need to go to bed. You have all these hardline, no-deal Brexiteers in the cabinet whispering in Boris's ear. No deal is not going to be off the table until he's out of number 10. But a general election in December is a really, really effing stupid move. And here's why. There are a ton of issues, and like those issues have been reported in different outlets, so I'm not going to go into all of them and the whys, but people aren't going to be as motivated to vote, and there are going to be a ton of complications for it. School halls and things like that are obviously going to be double booked. Double booked is a really weird way of putting it. But yeah, I mean, that's why we typically have elections during the summer when all these public places are mostly free, when you don't have to worry about, you know, town halls being full of kids and nurseries and things like that. So it makes it easier. The political system that we have at the moment already favours Conservatives. First past the post favours Conservatives more than any other party. But then when you start adding extra hurdles to jump over, that's when Labour's chances of getting those votes just goes down and down and down and down. Now, we also have Conservatives who have pulled out party tricks that they've learnt from the American Republicans. One of them is photo ID for being able to vote. Something that they only tested in strong Labour areas. And what did it do? Less people were able to vote. Conservatives don't really want the majority of people voting, because the majority of people voting means Conservatives won't get that win. But all these little tricks, and they'll come out, again, I've done videos on this before, they'll come out with, well, it makes it safer. Voter fraud in the UK isn't really an issue, and in general, voter fraud favours right-wing parties, which is the Conservatives. So you're not trying to do the world any favours, you're just stopping people from actually having a voice. So yeah, December voting has a lot of inherent issues. But then we go into the polls. Now, polls you kind of take with a pinch of salt, but Labour's not doing fantastic because of how they've handled Brexit. The policies I fully get behind, and my God, Jeremy Corbyn makes it hard for me to like him a lot of the time recently. But the policies are good. But here's the thing. A general election right now is going to be based on Brexit. That's how people are going to vote in general. And that's the wrong way of doing it. Because regardless of where you stand, Labour's stance on it is pathetic. They are a wet noodle. It's a term that I love using now. But you know where you stand with Brexit with a party like Lib Dems because they've been very clear on it. Whether they're being honest is a completely different discussion. But they're clear. Conservatives, clear. So that's where people will vote. But it's not just about Brexit. It's about funding for education. It's about saving our NHS. It's about social care. It's about universal credits. Something that Swindon is very in favour of. It's about all these issues that actually have a huge impact. Not just one topic. That's why it's a referendum. That's why we need a referendum and not a general election. But people won't use this general election as a general election. They'll use it as another referendum. Just like you hear the Brexiteers saying, and Brexiteers voters used the European election as another referendum. So now we have Anne Widdecombe, who makes a big song and dance and embarrasses the country, and now came out defending Nazi guards. Jesus Christ. So that's another issue with it. And then thirdly, Labour's not going to get a lot of votes. So my prediction for it is that we will get a coalition government between Conservatives and Lib Dems. There is no doubt in my mind, if Lib Dems have to pick a team, Labour or Conservatives, they will go with Conservatives. Because just a few months ago, a lot of them were bloody Conservatives. Joe Swindon has voted voted with the Conservatives more than any other party. They are the Conservatives. They chose not to put a vote one way or the other when it came to protecting the NHS. So they will absolutely sell out the NHS, either by voting for it or just by saying, yeah, it's not our problem. Over and over and over again, the Lib Dems sell out the country to side with the Conservatives. And that is where a massive, massive problem lays. Because if Boris Johnson had a majority, his bill would have likely passed. And if his bill had passed, as Caroline Lucas pointed out in one of the sections that led to another one of the 1,000 odd documents that were needed to know in order to fully comprehend the bill, Bojo would have used that to lead to a no deal. He's sneaky. I mean, I don't think for a second that he wrote that, but certainly the people that he surrounded himself with are smarter, and they are all pushing for a no-deal Brexit, and that's what would have happened. Instead, he's just spanked billions and billions of taxpayer money on 50p coins and adverts from the government that say, get ready for Brexit, but don't tell you how to get ready for Brexit, and other stupid shit like that. And even recently, saying to the EU, oh yeah, we have 7 billion, that's ours, that's definitely ours, but you can have that, not even use it to pay off some of the things that we owe. You absolutely have that, just don't care. That's Boris. The result of every single member of Parliament is responsible for Boris Johnson, because they didn't have to have him in there, but they're all so fucking childish they can't put the country first. And that's where we are. Jeremy Corbyn and Labour have backed a general election. I think it will do more harm to Labour than good. I think it will lead to Conservatives coalition with the Liberal Democrats, and there is no doubt in my mind the Liberal Democrats will sell out the country every single day of the week to side with the Conservatives, which means we are going to have a no-deal Brexit. Just my prediction. I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I'm still going to vote for Labour, even if Corbyn is a wet noodle. But that's where I see this going. If not enough people turn out, if not enough people work out that the Liberal Democrats have been consistently selling off this country to side with the Conservatives, and most Liberal Democrats were Conservatives at one point, even recently as just a few months ago, then we will have a Conservative coalition Lib Dem government. We will leave the European Union with no deal. We will have that deal with America because we would have destroyed our union, giving away Northern Ireland, because even though we took it in the first place, fuck them. They were a nuisance. Which means the American lobbyists will now say, yeah, well, Northern Ireland's protected because that's still part of Europe. That's fine. We will absolutely destroy the UK, the farming industry, the NHS and everything else. All because Jeremy Corbyn supported a general election rather than having a fucking backbone and saying, no, you petulant little child. Let's sort out Brexit. Let's have a referendum. Because we're not going to fall for your games.